Welcome back to Vibe Theory. I'm your girl L Boogie,
I'm busy.
and we got something special for you guys to celebrate Black History. Now, every revolution has a rhythm. Before movements hit the streets, they echo the speakers in lyrics, bass lines, and in songs that refuse to be ignored. Today, we're going to unpack the soundtrack of a revolution. The records that do not just reflect the movement, but also ignite it. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it, BZ.
Yes, yes.
What would you say? How have protest songs evolved from the past decades to today? Let's
Whew.
start there.
That's a good question. That's a good question, Boogie. So, in the past, 1960s, I mean, let's look at the body of work that they had then versus now.
Right.
You had Sam Cooke with his song, A Change Is Gonna Come.
Hmm.
You had Nina Simone with Mississippi Goddamn. You had People
Right.
Get Ready with The Impressions. And then on top of that, a host of spiritual songs that followed us from times of slavery working in the fields. So
Hmm.
how it's evolved from songs like uh evolving those songs into modern day, Freedom with
Hmm.
John Legend, and
Right.
how that song embodied, wanting to cross that road into freedom, and encompassing the work of having spiritual background behind it, and
Yeah.
having that strong message, and then mixing into that, um, Common coming in with
With glory.
lyricism. Exactly. So you
Hmm.
have you have the revolution now transitioning into songs like that. You don't hear the spiritual songs of old like you used to, but they're still there. They are still there. Uh, but you hear the song and you hear the message evolving into something that modern generation can grasp to.
So you brought up something good there, a good point, that you don't hear the spirituals like we used to. Do you think
Mm-hmm.
that reason because that is because of the fact that the church dynamic that was the source to begin, for to meet, to organize, and to, for the movement. So, do you believe because the church right now is falling back from being that position, is why we're not seeing more spiritual led songs or new
Uh,
of that being birthed from that?
I won't say the church is falling back. What I will say is that then versus now, there's different facets to get the message out.
Okay,
Then you didn't have social media. Now you
that's true.
do. And so you don't have to rely on the church to have a meeting place. You
That's right.
can use Instagram, you can use TikTok, you can use
Exactly.
Facebook, and all the different venues to avenues to be able to get that message out for people to meet up. I mean, let's look at what's happening now with ICE and everything in this administration. How are they getting that word out? Of
Mm-hmm.
these protests and these pockets of protests that's taking place across the U.S. They're taking that to social media, getting that
Right.
word out. It's no longer just word of mouth and meeting at the church.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking that to social media where they can get youth involved. Because again, you know, it's sad to say that you don't have, youth going to the church as our parents did,
Exactly.
and things of that
Mhm.
nature. So that dynamic has changed. And
Yes.
so again, they're not relying on the church as they did before. I
Right.
don't think the activism of the church has changed. It's
Hmm.
just different avenues. And you do have some churches who have caught on to that and are
Hmm.
using social media as well to be able to help get that message out as well.
I
So
totally
it
agree. I totally agree.
social media has played a huge part in that.
ensure
And so
that, avenue and that vessel to now project and cast a wider net,
mhm,
so we don't have to
yes,
work into an actual meeting place to get the information, to organize, to schedule protests and things like that. They had to go to an actual physical structure. Right now,
yep,
I can just pick up my phone, you know.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep,
so
right on point.
that itself, the whole what the revolution looks like has taken a different approach,
It
and
has.
it's
It has.
from past to today.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the revolution has changed immensely from then versus now. I mean, you have it taking on such a different dynamic, and the
Hmm.
music speaks to that. I mean, with some of the songs that you and I have chosen that we feel represent the struggle that's going on for
Right.
Black and Brown people, and just people struggling in general.
In general.
um,
Yeah,
we see that, and the music that we've chosen, um, it paints that picture lyrically,
exactly.
with what we see going on out there today.
And so you brought up something else that I love. So what you think would actually qualifies song as revolution? Revolutionary as far as its lyrics. We was talking about the lyrics. We was talking about the timing, artists. The culture.
Hmm.
What would you say as of modern day? What would be that key factor that would pose itself a song that it could be deemed or thought as revolutionary?
A song that pulls your heartstring. That's really what I'm going to say. A song that makes you stop and think. That's thought provoking. That in itself is what a revolutionary song is. I mean, let's really think about it. Let's go back to
Mm-hmm.
Sam Cooke's song, "A Change Is
Right.
Gonna Come." You
Okay.
know, that song was a complete 180 from what you were used to hearing from Sam Cooke. But that song drew you in.
Mm-hmm.
He painted that picture lyrically of what that change could be, what we're striving for, why we're doing what we're
What
doing.
we do.
And if you have a heart,
Right.
you wanted to see that equality for your brothers and sisters as well.
Exactly.
And so that's what a modern day revolutionary song does as well. It pulls that heartstring.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, we were talking about change is going to come. What is another one off of your list that you're
One of
saying?
the songs, one of the songs that I have on my list, and I didn't mention this to you, but one of the songs that is on the top of my list is "This Is America" by Childish
Damn.
Gambino.
Oh, that was on my list.
That is
List.
one of those, because visually, lyrically, I mean, it is a powerful message,
Hmm.
because listening to the song, you hear it, you feel it.
You feel it.
Same with watching the video,
Right.
where you're seeing the guns that come out, how
And folks literally getting killed right there. I'm sorry, unalive, right there in front of your face. So he painted a visual, and then he also gave you the contrast of this is America.
mm-hmm.
This is
Yes.
actually on the streets, guys.
Yep, exactly, exactly. And then on top of that, going into, the rap part, the lyrical part, where,
Hmm.
the rap part was you're hearing the guns going off, but then guess
Hmm.
what? Going into the singing part, like everything's okay. You don't see it
That's
here.
right.
And so that's where that song encompasses what's going on today. And even though this song came out years before what we're seeing right now,
Right.
it still speaks true to
Absolutely.
what we're seeing right now.
So it's almost like he prophesized that. I mean, it was like my
Mm-hmm.
did he see that, ahead of time? Because it was on the cusp and it just kept rising.
Yep.
Right after the church incident at Mother Emanuel. All of this was
Mm-hmm.
like climactic. And I don't
Yep.
even think George Floyd had happened at that time when he put This Is America out.
Yep.
I don't even think George Floyd had happened. So all of this was
No.
like leading up to these things.
Nope.
Wow, that
Nope.
speaks volumes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And so that's probably top on my list of what really kind of kicks off this musical playlist of modern
Hmm.
day revolutionary songs. The
Right.
next one that's on my list is, and this is a sleeper because unless you know music, yeah, you
You
haven't heard this cat.
right, hadn't heard it.
And I'm gonna be honest, there's so many songs that really could fit into this revolutionary soundtrack that we're putting together, but Donnie, um
Yes.
the color section,
Mm,
this brother, who embodies Donny Hathaway,
have
who
to
embodies,
mm,
Stevie Wonder, embodies just that soulful essence, that church style
that too.
that you don't hear. Um,
Absolutely.
if you've never heard this song, what I suggest to our viewers is Donnie, Donnie,
That's
the
right.
color section.
Else done.
Listen to this song because when I tell you, he put his heart and soul and he saw that struggle for himself and put it out there lyrically. Because I
Absolutely.
mean, he put out there what it means to be black, what
Hmm.
it means to work hard just to be accepted. Because
Absolutely.
once we come into this world, we're filling out that card and checking black. And
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
absolutely.
And he incorporated that, every bit of that, in the song The Color Section. And
Yeah. So,
so,
like, when I saw that, and when you shared with me, he was one of the ones on your list. I went back and listened to it again because I remember the album. I love
mm-hmm, yeah,
it, but it's crazy how I didn't remember that song. And then once I heard it, I said, "Wow!" It literally
mm-hmm,
because you could hear the pain, you could hear the
mm-hmm,
and it's
yep,
projecting on the record.
yep,
Now I don't
yep,
know if South, but it sounds like if he wasn't from the South, he got roots in the South.
mm-hmm,
And it sounds like you could struggle from ancestors in that song. Someone has told
mm-hmm,
how it was, you know.
mm-hmm,
I mean, and then again, we act like this is so far removed. It's not. It hasn't been that long
nope,
ago. It has not
mm-mm,
been.
nope,
And therefore, we could go right back. And I say that, but honestly, we just don't know. It is. Yeah, this is just where we are right now. And it's sad that we're still having to talk about these things in this day.
mm-hmm. You hit the nail on the head. Having to talk about this in 2026,
26.
where we're still having to talk about the struggle. We're having to see families being ripped apart. Um, these songs, people coming together is needed so much more now, more than ever.
Yeah,
And I really, and we probably are on the same page when I say this, is that this is where music helps bridge
bridge
all of
that.
us together.
Mhm,
It,
absolutely.
it really does. And so, what do you
Because
have on your list?
and then to kind of come back on that and piggyback on what we were just talking about, Leon Bridges, Sweeter. It's featuring Terrence Martin. This was right after Ahmaud Arbery.
Mm,
Mm,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and that's all I can say. It was a lot to unpack with that. Um,
yeah.
our life more sweeter. Instead, just it says, oh man, I don't know. Oh, something about he's just repeating the date. It's crazy. It yeah,
Yeah.
that was something when I heard that, and I'm like, this
Mhm.
guy live just like all of us. If you look at it, there that's all we're trying to do is we're trying to exist, we're trying to survive,
Mhm. Yep.
and just to do that,
Exactly. Exactly. I
and
mean,
blink of an
and
eye,
that's really what it
we're not
comes down
here
to.
anymore.
Mhm.
Why are we still?
Exactly. And to think that it comes from, just based off of skin color, that we're not here. So, and that's where Sweeter really paints that picture. How finite life can be just by simply being seen as different. And
Absolutely,
and that's why that song speaks volumes.
absolutely, absolutely. And another one that to kind of go on that is 41 Shots, Bruce Springsteen.
Mm.
Remember that?
Yep. Yep.
Up there in New York, you know,
Yep. Mhm.
just taking the cell phone for a gun.
Yep.
Immigrant,
Yep.
Nigerian immigrant.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and shout out for Bruce Springsteen, who's
Right?
doing a concert now, to protest.
Yes. It's
you know.
ridiculous that he has to keep doing this. This
Mhm.
is the value of the game. Why are we still having this conversation? This is
Look.
this is very
Look,
that's
I mean,
corny
it
behavior. This is crazy.
it is. And here's the thing. And like we've said before, it's sad that we're having to have this conversation, especially in this day and age. We're still having to have this conversation. And it's people like you and I, it's people like Bruce Springsteen, it's people like Bob Dylan, who in his old age,
Oh yeah,
is still protesting. Those who are out there who are wanting to stand on the right side of history, that's why we keep doing it,
that's right.
because we know that equality matters, and so that's why the fight must continue.
So, and this leads to another question that I have. Do you think that the music industry supports or do they suppress revolutionary art? Let's talk about that because that may have some profound insight as to where we're moving the.
Mm. That's a deep one. That's a deep one. That's
Yeah,
that's a hard question, Boogie. That's a deep question.
we got to have that conversation because honestly, there was resistance back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Motown didn't no protest songs. Barry Gordy made
No.
that very clear with what's
No.
going on by Marvin Gaye. He
Oh
didn't
yeah.
approve of that. He didn't
No. But
approve of
here's the thing. Marvin gonna do what he do. Marvin
that.
don't care.
Exactly.
Marvin was gonna do what he
Exactly.
do.
But in this day and age, right now, we can learn from our past mistakes
Mm-hmm.
because inflation is what's going to fuel and keep allowing this behavior to exist.
Yep.
It is the capitulation. And if you
Yep.
don't say something, like the old ad is saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for it.
Mm-hmm. You'll fall for anything. Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, and here's the thing, to your point, it honestly it depends on the record company. It really does. It depends on the record company, but it also depends on who the artist is.
Artists. Mm-hmm.
Because, independent artists have, you know, ample opportunity of being able to use their art to be able to do what it is that they want to do, and go with it. Those
Right.
who are with those major companies, I think it's a little bit harder for them because, let's be honest, at the end of the day, the only thing they care about is that mighty dollar and selling albums. That's all they
Selling out.
care about.
Right.
And
You right.
they don't want to press, they don't want to be seen as a problem child, and they don't
Rock
want
the
their
boat.
artists, exactly, and they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want their artists to be seen as a problem child. um,
Mhm.
so it honestly depends. So I mean, let's look at Kendrick Lamar for a second. With Kendrick Lamar, I look at him as another artist where you're not gonna say no to Kendrick. You're not gonna say no to him. Why? Because he's making you what?
Money.
Money. And until he's no longer making you money, then that's where they'll try to have an input. But until then, he's going to add that knowledge and little tidbits of whatever that he does. He's going to continue to put it into his albums, and the record company is not going to have a problem with it. Now, let's look at it from a different standpoint. Let's look at someone who's low on the totem pole, who wants to have a anti-political album. Nah,
Right. Right.
nah,
Right.
you
Nah.
ain't making us no money. You are not
Right.
in the public eye like that. No.
You have that fan base yet. But who knows though? I
Mhm.
think the landscape has changed so much though from all of this unfiltered and this
Mhm.
water versions of music that don't inspire. This
Mhm.
right now is so uninspired that it may be refreshing. So it may actually benefit for you to take a gamble, especially if the project is good. Now, this is the thing. It goes back to production. It goes back to, you know,
Mhm.
kind of like in the studio, how things are going to be received. Maybe take things on the road and do smaller sets and just test some of the songs out.
Mhm.
Billie Holiday did with Strange Fruit. You
Mm.
know, these
Yep.
things,
Yep.
they were done actually in clubs, when
Yep.
she first singing this. This wasn't,
Mhm.
she wasn't on wax just yet, you
Yeah.
know? And there's another thing. It's like, we don't even know what that process was. Her record company, when she decided to actually place it on wax, did she receive pushback? You know what I'm saying? We know for a fact that she received pushback with performing the song.
Yeah,
And,
she did. Yeah, she did. She
you know,
did. She definitely did, because America was not ready to hear that.
they weren't ready. They weren't ready for the truth.
They weren't ready. Exactly. Yep. So, I mean, and to your point, I mean, yeah, songs like that, that's where they tested the waters. And so for artists to want to do that, yeah, they're going to have to test the waters as well. Uh, but what I will say to that is it's a little different, and and this is where I would say it would play in their favor because of social media.
Hmm.
Um, but then there's the downside of social media. Everyone has an opinion. So it could
Right.
play
And it
against
comes
them
in
as
fast.
well. Yep.
That's the thing.
It comes in. Yep. So, and
So
that's where, again, go ahead.
I was just about to say that about the social media. So can viral moments then replace traditional movement anthems? So since we're talking about social media,
Hmm.
can it replace, traditional movement and
I think
anthems?
it can. I think it can, and I think it has. Because, I mean, think about it. I mean, how often now do you see things faster on social media than you do, seeing a commercial or seeing an advertisement somewhere? Because, I mean, when's the last time you bought a magazine? So these are exactly. So these are the things where social media now takes over those things. Back in the day where we used to say radio is dead because of music videos, but now
That's
music
right.
videos are dead
Yeah.
because of social media.
Absolutely.
Songs are shorter because of social media. You want to be able to get your 2 minutes on there because of social media.
Exactly. You brought a great question. I mean, because Janelle Monáe had this song. It was right after George Floyd. Um, hell you talking about? That was the name of the song.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, and it's like, what the hell you talking about? And it was just a chant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a full 2-3 minute song. I think it's like maybe a minute and 50 seconds. But they were singing it during a concert live, just having a breakout jam.
Mm-hmm.
And it just took like
Yeah.
wildfire because
Yeah.
everybody had a cell phone and it was capturing the moment and it just spread.
Yep. Yep. And that's what social media can do for you, because again, it boosts the opportunity, it puts it out there. And again, that's where there's
Hmm.
those pros and cons when it comes to
Hmm.
social media.
Right.
Songs like that, depending on the artist, it can take off. And that's where again you have those then who have their comments. That's just the environment that we live in today. But that's where, as an artist, use social media, use your platform
That's
to
right.
to stand on the right side of history. So
Absolutely.
so then here's my question to you. What song makes you feel ready to stand up for something?
And I will have to go with Freedom by various artists from the Panther soundtrack.
Okay, okay.
That song encapsulated one. It did two things. So it actually was a call to action, demanding that we want freedom, right? And it
Mhm.
also reshaped how we want it, because we can call to action and say we want freedom, but then we can't further articulate what that freedom should look like.
Mm.
I think with this song, it allowed us to galvanize itself, especially because it was done by all females. You
Mm.
know, led by
Okay.
Miss America, the first black Miss America, Vanessa Williams starts the song
Okay.
out, not bow down to racism. That's the
Mm.
first thing it is. And then Coco comes back from SWV, we will not bow down to injustice. It's
Mm.
crazy how this song just kind of sweeps in and it has this, black love, black power, that sisterhood. So it's almost like a twofer. It actually, it was like getting two for one, because we needed
Mm.
black as a whole, as a
Mhm.
race, right? And then we also needed
Okay.
that exactly to say, hey, we get to stand together
Mm.
because we come on many shoulders. We stand on great shoulders. So we got to stand
Okay.
up. And when you look at it today, it speaks to the 92%.
Mm.
I just have to say, I mean, from when you look at the way that these women were able to produce this record, the video was more or less like a We Are the World situation where
Mhm.
all came in. You got Michelle De Cello playing the bass, Queen
Of
Latifah,
course. Yeah.
the hottest of the hottest R&B and rap, because TLC was on there, you know,
Mm.
Salt and Pepper. So the
Yeah.
hottest of the hot R&B, hip hop artists of the decade were in that room.
Mhm.
And
And that says a
I
lot.
hope that it does. It's powerful in itself, because when you think about the We Are the World situation, and
Mhm.
I really hope that someone was able to capture the behind the scenes, how they put this together, and you would think, and just show it, because the movie itself celebrated 30 years last year. It was 30
Wow.
years when Panther came out.
Okay.
So Queen Latifah, if you're watching, please, I need a documentary, the behind the scenes. Come on, Queen.
Behind the scenes cuts.
Come on. Somebody, y'all need to get with Regina King or somebody, Issa Rae, whoever you
Somebody.
able to do work. 'Cause we need that. 30 years.
Look, look. Wow. I
Is
get
that
that. And I'll have to go back and watch that because it's been years since I've watched that movie. And so I'll need to go back and watch that because I know you
watch the
mentioned it when we talked about wanting to do this topic. Um,
yeah.
and so this is something that I'll have to go back and really look at. But the song for me, and I just recently heard this song. And it honestly, when I heard it, I was like, man, this is deep. And I love this brother. I mean, he's an independent artist, but yet he has taken his career to new heights, and that's Chance the Rapper with the Negro
Yeah.
Problem. And when I heard this song, he performed it on some late night show. I don't even remember what it was
I
on.
think it was on Stephen Colbert, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or Jimmy Fallon. I think it was
I don't remember, but the fact that he did the song, performed
mhm,
it
live.
live on stage on a show like that where millions of people are tuned in to watch it, he used his platform. And what I love about this is, he goes into so many different uh, topics of where people just say, no, that's your problem. He go dives into, how medical treatments are different for black and brown people. He goes into just how things are just different, how we're treated different simply because of the color of our skin.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's why for me, even though it's something I just recently heard, because first Donnie was on the top of my list with Cloud Nine. That was gonna be
Yeah,
my
you didn't
number
tell me
one
about
song.
stop
But
telling me
but when I heard but when I
you
heard the Negro Problem, that really hit it home for me because I mean there's one part where he says, he talks about the police. He's like, now it's train the police and it's school police, it's going to be police at the balloon release. He talks about how, yeah, exactly, where it's now we have police in everyday life, every aspect
yeah,
of our life, looking on to us, waiting for us to do something when we're just trying to live.
just
We're just
trying to
trying to walk. We're just trying to walk the dog. We're just trying to run. We're just trying to exercise. We're just trying to be us.
we're just trying to go to sleep. Breonna Taylor.
Exactly. Exactly. And so that's where this song really resonated with me because it speaks to everyday living and how that everyday living is a struggle because of how different we're treated. And
Absolutely.
people can ignore it and try to say that, oh no, there's no problem. No, there is a problem. And you can't
Right.
ignore it
You
because
can't
it's there.
have to go back to the capitulation. If you do not say anything, that means you stand. That means you agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. It's about humanity. Treat
Yes.
someone
Yes.
who would want to be treated. It's in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And what I will say with this is, I mean, this has been a deep conversation, and I know this is completely different, everyone, from what we've started out with, and but these are conversations that need to be had.
Absolutely.
We're all fun and we love music, but we also know that music represents the struggle. And so these are going to be those moments where we do discuss that as well. And so we want to hear from you. What songs stand out for you? What song stands out that says, I want to do something?
Absolutely.
And every little bit helps. No one's saying, go out in the streets and cause mayhem. No one is saying that at all.
No.
But what we are saying is stand on the right side of history. Do what's
Absolutely.
right. And
Do what's
that's
right.
what Martin Luther King has said.
Exactly. Exactly. Because music has always been much more than entertainment. It's the infrastructure for change. You know,
Exactly.
hip hop, from soul to spoken word, just every behind a musical blueprint for resistance, resilience, and a rebirth. Because we will have a rebirth after this. You can rest assured. Nothing stays high. Things have to come back down and level out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Up, it goes down.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
and spark something inside of you. Please tap in with us. And you can watch this full episode on YouTube and follow Vibe Theory with me, your girl L Boogie,
And Beezy.
across all social media platforms. Stay connected,
Yes.
guys. Stay engaged. And as always, protect your peace and protect the vibe. Until next time, peace.
Peace.